Hi everyone, it's Tomi from Good to Meet Ya. I am usually all on the gram, so you can follow me there at Good to Meet Ya. However, today I wanted to jump here on YouTube and share this video because I felt like it was gonna be a little bit too long to share on my stories. I hope it doesn't get too ranty, but I had this conversation on Twitter a couple of weeks ago talking about it feels like interacting on Instagram right now is kind of like a minefield, which pause for a second because I don't ever know if it's minefield or mindfield, but it's a lot. Because I will be scrolling and I'll see someone's cute photo and maybe I assume it's a throwback of them, you know, jumping off of a boat in the Caribbean, but surprise, it's actually from like a recent trip, or they're in Mexico, or they're going to a wedding that has 200 guests, and it's just like, what is happening right now? Because I feel like I'm being gaslighted by everyone on Instagram or on social media because I'm like, am I the only one who knows that there's a pandemic going on? I have been sheltering in place here with my husband in Charlotte since March, which basically means that I work from home, so I'm at home for 24/7. If I'm leaving, it's to go grocery shopping. Sometimes then I'm even just picking up groceries that I've already like pre-ordered, so they just put them in the trunk of my car. The human interaction is very, very small. My husband goes to work, comes home. We haven't even gone to restaurants since March. We've ordered a lot from like local restaurants and stuff like that, but not necessarily going in because I don't feel comfortable with that at all. And a lot of the outdoor spacing here fills up so quickly because I think that's what everyone's trying to move to. But yeah, so it's just odd whenever I see people's photos like this, and especially for the vacations, because they'll say something along the lines of, oh, this year has just been so tough in like 2020, and we just really needed this break. It was so nice to just get away. It's funny because I didn't think the rest of us weren't taking vacations for fun, or because our 2020s have just been so happy-go-lucky. It's because there's a global pandemic going on. COVID is real. It's here. It does not care that you were going on vacation because you needed a break. Because we all need a break, right? Like, I would have loved to have gone somewhere for my first wedding anniversary, or to celebrate my birthday, or to be with any of my family members during their birthdays, but we didn't because there's a pandemic happening. And I get that it's very difficult for people's mental health right now. I get that it's difficult for people who don't live with their family, like close to them. My family lives in Georgia, so I've only seen them once. And it's just weird that that's how we're framing it, as like a self-care type of situation, when there are plenty of people who would love to be able to take that opportunity, who have the resources to do that. It's not even necessarily financial restraint, but the reason that they're not doing that is because there's a global pandemic. So kind of from the influencer standpoint, when I was having this conversation on Twitter, for me, I was sharing that I think it's irresponsible for us to have these platforms where we're talking to thousands of people every day and we're not sharing those extra steps that we're taking to stay safe. For example, with travel influencers, I can't imagine how difficult this transition has been for them during this year, pivoting their content. However, if they're going to travel specifically for a branded event, not necessarily a vacation, I think that they do have a responsibility to share exactly how they've stayed safe. Are they getting tested beforehand and after? Are they quarantining while they're there? Are they wearing masks? Like, what are those extra steps that you're taking and precautions to not only keep yourself safe, but to keep others safe? Because really, when it comes to travel, that's the biggest thing, is especially going to other countries, is you don't want to add to their burden of what they're doing to make sure that they can keep all of their residents as safe and healthy as possible. So to go to Mexico because you need a vacation, you need to get away, like, good for you, but we all kind of do. I just hate that. I hate the self-care type of angle because America already has an issue with being very selfish and self-centered. And towards the beginning of this pandemic, in like March, I told my followers, I was like, hey, Guys, I don't know what they're telling you, but we're gonna be here until at least August or September because there's no way that these other countries are doing that we're gonna be able to do that here because the culture is just so different. I remember people saying like, "Oh, girl, like you're exaggerating. It's too much." And now I guess it just turns out that I didn't exaggerate enough. So that's been great. It's annoying. I have MS, so I have an autoimmune disease where I have to take this super seriously, and I have asthma, and but I'm an extrovert. Like I would love to be able to hang out with more people and like lift my spirits during this time. So I've had to settle for Zoom, and you know what? It's okay for now, but I would really like by this time next year to be nowhere close to the type of dumpster fire that we're living in right now, and that will take some people kind of stepping up and taking some responsibility for those actions. And I think that also can come from influencers in our platforms and being able to share how we're making sure that we're staying safe. And so, no, that might mean not going on your vacations. I think it's very weird for people to go on vacations right now and then be all defensive that why are these people coming in my comments? Maybe because you're traveling when there's a global pandemic happening. I had this conversation with my friend who is also a content creator, and we were just like, what would it look like if influencers are making sure to like share all of those things that they're doing? And she was like, well, I kind of am afraid to do that because I don't want it to look like I'm being too self-righteous or anything. But from my perspective, I'm like, no, I think it's great to show people that you care and you're empathetic and you're not oblivious to what's happening and that you're taking it so seriously that you're making sure to do all of these things in addition to what you have to do. Because I get it, as influencers, yeah, we do still have to travel for our jobs sometimes, collaborating with other people, going to wherever these brands need us to be. However, I don't think a brand would blacklist you if you were to say, sorry, I don't want to travel right now because COVID. I think they would be fine and keep you on their list of whatever possible stuff for things for next year. And I get that because this is a real job, which I know a lot of people don't like to think, that you sometimes can't say no to money. You have bills, you have stuff that you have to do, you have people who are relying on you for income. But if for you to vacation and claim it in self-care or getting away or as a part of your job, but really all you needed were new Instagram photos, is just, it's ridiculous. And honestly, kind of hurtful that it's kind of erring on the side of selfishness, one, and then two, of thinking that your audience isn't smart enough to realize that like this is not for any type of like specific work thing, it's because you wanted to get away. So yeah, I do have issues scrolling through social media right now because I don't want to like something and make it look like I am okay with that type of like behavior or condone it, because I'm not. So there are times when I don't like, or I don't comment, I don't engage, and now their influencer is saying like my engagement is down, all this stuff. Is it because that you're showing that you have no regard for other humans? Is it because you haven't spoken up on any of the big issues that have happened this year? Maybe, maybe not, but who could know? It's a lot of stuff happening in this world, and I think if we were all just a little bit more empathetic, and realizing that if we want to get through this, we're gonna have to hunker down and stay at home and do what we need to do to make sure that this virus is gone, because I don't want to be here this time next year and have to deal with this all again, because it's too much. It is way too much. So I'd love to know your thoughts, comments about everything that's happening with influencers. Do you think that it's really influencers who are kind of like the worst perpetrators of all of this, or do you think it's more just because they're pretty visible, and knowing that you still kind of have like friends or family who like might also not take it as seriously? Do you think that influencers should share all of the stuff that they are doing if they are just going on vacation or business, whatever type of travel, to keep themselves safe and others safe? Do you think they even should share, or should they just keep it to themselves and do whatever, and then they don't have to worry with any type of blowback, even if it's not the most honest thing to do? I'd love to know your thoughts. Happy to have all these discussions. If you want to see more rants, if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't know who I am, again, I'm Tomi from @GoodToMecha. I share a lot of fun rants on my stories, usually with pop culture, but we like to dig into some deep stuff too. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.